Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Scorpio. If Scorpio is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, knock, knock, knock. Let's see. What do these tea leaves have for us tonight? All right. Hopefully you all are doing well. We're having a bit of snow here. And just kind of having a quiet night at home, which I do not mind. Okay, and I like to kind of pull this out so I can look at the negative space. Okay, and just gain a little more perspective, because these things, they just look different when you look at them from different angles and from far away versus right up close. Might really look differently. Okay, so I'm going to start with right in the middle. We have a 4. And this is kind of the old-fashioned 4 with the with the kind of like that. And so I think that you're going to be looking for a 4 in your life somewhere. I think this is probably somewhat important. It's going to be maybe a synchronicity, a repeating number, something to come up, something like a house number maybe, or like a lucky number, maybe like a birth date, something. Okay, this keep an eye out for it. I'm not really sure exactly what it is going to be, but it's right here, right in the center. So this is something that's really kind of popping out and saying, hey, notice me. Okay, and let's see. I want to look at this beautiful formation up here, which looks like an apple to me, almost a pumpkin, but I think an apple. And you know, the apple is a beautiful symbol, has a variety of meanings depending on what mythology, religion, culture you're looking at. But I like to relate this to good health and knowledge. Okay, not forbidden knowledge, but knowledge. I think that this definitely is an indicator that you have been feeling pretty good. I think that you've been active, you've been busy, you've been keeping yourself going, staying on course, really meeting your goals. And overall, I think just, you know, physical health is doing well, mental health is doing well. They're kind of united together. And I say this because this is kind of in that emotional, psychic, conscious area, but also down into the physical. So I think you're getting into a good place, right? Or you have been in a good place. You've been maintaining whatever routine and upkeep and taking care of yourself, being mindful, and that's wonderful. Let's see. I just kind of want to take a look at it from any other angle, because it's really a beautiful formation. And I don't know, maybe we'll come back to it. I kind of almost, you know, it almost kind of looks like and this could be because we have St. Patrick's Day coming up, but I really also think I'm getting the feeling that it's not exactly a 4-leaf clover, but it looks like a leaf of some kind. And I think that this really also is related to just having a good luck streak going. I think that things have really been falling into place for you. You've been noticing that, and to some degree, you know, really putting it to use. Okay, and I think that's you know, wonderful. It's the perfect season for it. If you are going into spring or going into fall, it's a wonderful time to be getting everything kind of lined up and moving forward and flourishing and, you know, really accomplishing those things that you have been wanting to do. I know for me, it's been, you know, just doing some of the deep cleaning. It's such a stereotype, but the spring cleaning or the fall cleaning, getting fresh air into the house, you know, cleansing the stagnant energies, bringing in, you know, just the desire for new inspiration and beginning new cycles, and also just getting rid of things that are not of use. And that could be literal physical things, but also, you know, habits that we have that are not of service to us, or relationships that have been, you know, just kind of taking up time, effort, heartbreak, you know, ending some of those things. These are really those seasons when that starts to happen, I think. And we start to think about, you know, making really intentional decisions about who we're going to be spending our time with, and who we are going to allow to be in our personal lives. And I think that's a good thing. I think it's a wonderful thing to reevaluate that. Maybe seasonally, maybe that should be a new trend. We reevaluate who we are going to lend our time and effort to. And so let's see, let's keep going here. Okay, so we have this. Oh. Okay. Well, first I want to look at this. Well, no. I'm going to do it this way because it just kind of stared at me. We have an eye, okay? And while I was kind of turning, I also saw that we had this kind of little dragon here, okay? And so I put these two together and there's an exclamation mark, okay? So I really think, unfortunately, Scorpio, we have somebody who is giving us the symbol for the evil eye. So I think probably somebody who is a bit envious, and that kind of goes along with this, the apple slash leaf formation for good luck. And I think somebody else has taken notice that things have been looking up for you, and you have a bit of that negative, envious, kind of hater energy pointed at you. And I think that this is a person who is somewhat volatile, okay? We have this dragon energy, and I think that, you know, oftentimes when we see the dragon, we all know a dragon is pretty, you know, tame, maybe a little bit sleepy, kind of just hanging out, resting. You could imagine like some kind of lizard or snake kind of sunning itself, really saving its calories and absorbing that sun because they are cold-blooded. But when moved to become reactionary, they will attack with those big teeth and all of that fire that they breathe, and you know, the talking and gossiping and attacking your life and all of this, your character, your you know, just really not the kind of person that you want to catch interest in what you're doing and what's going on in your world, right? We all kind of hope that we don't come across people like this, and unfortunately sometimes that happens, especially I think with the rise of social media and people being more anonymous. It's kind of a more passive thing. They can, you know, follow your posts and, you know, whatever you put out about your life and the people you're attached to. And, you know, unfortunately, sometimes I think people kind of build up their own narrative about how people are doing and how successful they are, or even if they have something that, or you have something that they would want, or, you know, just really kind of delusional things. And I think that really living in the society that we live in now, it's easy to run into this kind of neurotic type of person, unfortunately. And, you know, we have to have empathy for people that, you know, it must be, I would say it must be torturous to have to live that way. You know, to have to be so worried about other people's lives instead of, you know, kind of working on their own things. And, you know, I just kind of, I'm not talking down about it. I honestly do believe that must be a terrible, you know, a terrible burden on somebody. But at the same time, when this kind of negativity or malice or whatever you want to call it is pointed at you, you have to really take care of yourself, Scorpio. Be safe, protect your, you know, protect especially your physical form, your life, your well-being, the well-being of those who are close to you. So, you know, it's always my advice is to protect yourself through, you know, you can use talisman and amulets and these kinds of things. And I think that you should, especially if that's something that you have a belief in. But also, you know, if it is somebody that you can disengage with, I would say do that. Do not feed into it if you can avoid it, you know. I think oftentimes this kind of situation, these are people who really, they really get a thrill out of, you know, the negative attention brought back to them. And unfortunately too, oftentimes it's not just one person that they're kind of preying upon. So they're really trying to feed off like a bunch of different people at once. And so try to avoid getting mixed into that by just not engaging with them and not responding and, you know, not talking about them, you know, gossiping or texting back or whatever it is, social media stuff. I would also say if it feels like it's something more than just somebody, you know, bad mouthing or picking at you or trying to pick a fight, I would say please document any of the things that are going on. You know, you never know how unwell somebody is, and you never know what people are capable of. So please, please watch out for yourselves. Always keep your information private. You know, don't let people get the upper hand on you. And if worse comes to worse, you really, you know, involve people you know, let them know what's happening, save all the information that you have about the situation, and just really take care of yourself. So whenever I see that evil eye, I really, you know, it's unfortunate how often, you know, stalking happens, or just violence, and, you know, things can escalate. And so I don't take it lightly. And maybe I overemphasize or overreact to some degree sometimes about these things. But I also can tell you that in my life, which I've been around for almost 40 years, and, you know, have not always had a very calm life. You know, I've lived in situations and in places where things were, you know, things kind of popped off, and for the people around me, and, you know, around the way and stuff. And so, you know, you never know. You never know. So please just, you know, take care of yourself, take care of the people you love, your people, and, you know, be mindful. Okay, and I really am interested. This one right here is so beautiful. It looks like somebody kind of walking. It almost looks like they have something on their back. I kind of almost get this image of somebody kind of like gathering, and this is probably also on my mind because I've been thinking, oh goodness, pretty soon it's going to be foraging season coming up. But this reminds me of somebody who is gardening or who is out there foraging. If you don't know what foraging is, it's going out and finding plants and you know, wild mushrooms or wild vegetables or fruits or flowers, medicinal plants and edible plants, and, you know, things that you can work with. And so anyways, this is how humans survived for many, you know, millennia. But now it's kind of it is a kind of subculture in itself. And if you're interested in that kind of thing, I would say start studying it. And, you know, also when the season is right where you live, and there are many seasons, you know, it changes depending on what time of year it is, but, you know, different things come into season all the time. So I would, you know, get into like a Facebook group, or there, you know, the Reddit or whatever for your area, and start studying some of the stuff that you can go out and find. Another thing that my husband and I like to do is we do this app called Seek, and you can go out and locate different plants. But what you do is you like kind of put your camera on it on your phone, and then it will identify the plant for you, or the animal, and then it takes a record of that, and it goes into a database, which is really cool. It's kind of like my Pokemon Go. So I just think this is a beautiful symbol of getting out, going for walks, getting into the environment. But also, I feel that with all this work that you've been doing with yourself, you are really getting your resources together. And if that's like actual physical resources, or resources as far as like your health being well, your creative inspirations are really coming through. I think just, you know, energy, spiritual resources. It really is all coming together, and you are, you know, collecting and getting these things together and really weaving them into a beautiful, I think of like a beautiful blanket of life or something like that. So I think it's just a really, really beautiful, beautiful symbol we have right here, if you didn't see what I was talking about. And then we have a 3, and it almost looks like you're foraging the 3. So let's look for a 3 as well. It seems like we have a 4 and a 3. And those are going to be 2 numbers to look for, okay, coming up. And then I want to turn this to this side, and it looks like we have a goat here, okay? And so with the goat, we, one of my favorite symbols, by the way, we have a leader. We have somebody who's very sturdy, somebody who is a survivor, who is resourceful, who is able to traverse difficult situations and environments. And I think this is totally relates to who you are and your ability to just, you know, kind of climb those mountains, get up high on those peaks, and just look out over all of the things that you have done and overcome, all of your aspirations in life that you have studiously worked on and towards. And I really think that, you know, this seems to be, you are coming into a proud moment in your life, okay? And I think, you know, you've really planned a lot of the things that you wanted to do. And sometimes I think, like anybody, you have gone off path and, you know, had some setbacks, but you all in all have continued to work for a long time, and it really shows. Okay, I think that you must be a very evolved person, a very refined being, and highly it's like the channels of the above and below, the macro and the micro, that spiritual celestial level flows down into the material, and the material physical flows back up and down and back. It's a beautiful balance that you have going, okay? And I want to talk about what I want to talk about here. And this actually really leads into something that I have been thinking about the last few days. I mean, it comes up here and there, but something that I have been thinking about. And I think this relates to also the moon card we have. This is the moon card from the Thoth deck, and we'll talk about what that actually means. But I want to talk about, you have come to this place where you have been working really, really, you know, with all of your focus at points, not all the time, but there are times I think you become very hyper focused on refinement of self-work, self-alchemy, spirituality, creativity, your career path, your physical form. I think all of, you know, your love life, your relationships with family. I think all of these places are really important to you, okay? But I think that also sometimes we get to a point where it's almost like, when do we stop obsessively trying to change ourselves or evolve ourselves, grow ourselves, tinker with ourselves? I wonder, and this is just me kind of rambling here. I don't know if anybody's still listening even. I sometimes think that nobody gets this far in my videos usually. But I wonder, what would life be like if just even for a little while we just lived in what we are right now? We didn't worry about, you know, losing weight or making more money or, you know, dyeing our hair or reading more books to be, you know, aside from pleasure or just, you know, experiencing other perspectives and, you know, but some of the times we're reading stuff just to learn more, to you know, become more intelligent, deeper thinking people. What if we didn't have that urge? What if we didn't think that we always had to be, you know, working towards the absolution of our mistakes or our karmic debt, or you know, just shifting constantly. And of course we're never in a fixed state, so we always will be shifting. But I just wonder, have people always lived this way? Have we all, you know, have there been times when most people just didn't worry so much about, you know, being more or being deeper or being less or just being different from what they are, you know? And I don't know, for me this relates so much to this moon energy, where we stop trying to shine a light on everything, trying to illuminate you know, investigate everything, look at everything as in its most authentic form, whatever that means. But, you know, sometimes going into those dark rooms, those dark sides of the forest where the sun doesn't shine, or beneath that morbid moon, that swollen moon, that missing moon, that, you know, that moon that pulls on all of the waters of our being, and just surviving, because that's what it is to be in the moonlight, right? It's about surviving the night, surviving the unconscious, surviving that shadowy valley that we sometimes find ourselves in. And there's not a lot of room for worrying about what we look like, or how intelligent we are, or what things we have or don't have, or what our ideologies are, what our political alignments are, what social mores we abide, right? So I don't know. Some people, when they get the moon card or they're in that moon energy, they fret about it. I, for one, am a night-sider. I belong in the night. I like to get up early these days, but yeah, I'm a creature, definitely, of these dark places, these unknown places. So, you know, I don't know. That's just something I think about. And, you know, I guess really what I'm coming around to is that with all this wonderful work you have done, I hope that you enjoy it, even just in moments, and don't worry about the next thing, at least for, you know, 30 minutes, half a day, maybe a week. You know what I mean? Don't worry about the next thing you have to start working on. Enjoy these wins, these, as I think they would say, gains, right? And then here, I just want to point out this little, it's neat because it looks like a bird, but also a plane. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? I think that it is travel. I think that there's some amount of travel happening here. And I think that I think that this is really, you know, going to be, because it's in this emotional area and it's going up into the spiritual, oops, I'm out of focus, in this emotional area, going up into the metaphysical, spiritual realm. I wonder if this is kind of a traveling of idea of intention, maybe in spiritual zones or places that you do interior work, and maybe transitioning into a new place, a new space. This might be most apparent in your dream life or meditative states, visualizations, things coming through, imagery coming through. I think you're going to have some kind of new elements of thinking coming in, okay? And so that'll be wonderful. It's always quite a blessing for the divine to kind of open a new chapter for us and start doing some new things within those interior realms. I, for one, sometimes when it's been going on for quite a while and I'm like, okay, I want to start having like a different series of dream landscapes, or you know, feeling pulled into new spaces within, you know, my temples and things, and you know, without having to do that so intentionally, just something kind of feeling like it naturally flows into something else. And I feel like that's what's happening for you. And, you know, for me, when it takes so long for that to happen, I start to really like, I don't know, I start to, like I said earlier about, I forget what I said it about, I start to really fret. Start to feel like maybe things are not progressing, or, you know, maybe things are, I get this feeling like, are things going to be like this forever? Is this it? But they change. They always do. They always do. And a good way to notice that is journaling. I know I push it all the time, but I think the magical, spiritual, emotional, record keeping is so important for looking for patterns later on. Or if you are feeling really stagnant and you feel like, I've been stuck in the same thing that I've been working on for so long, when you go back and read your records, your journals, you'll be surprised often that it has changed. It just sometimes doesn't feel like it. So I think that if you have, you know, that inclination to keep those kinds of records, do it. You know, really, it is helpful. Okay, and I want to look at this real quick. We have this beautiful figure. It looks like it's kind of floating in the sky, maybe even flying, swimming through the sky. And then we have this nice conjunction of time, I think. It looks like the next like 3 weeks, I would say. I feel like this is going to be a big release, or what do we call them? They like downloads, uploads. Do you guys call them downloads or uploads of information? Okay, in your dream spaces. And, you know, again, if you're writing this stuff down, journaling, you'll retain more of it, okay? Because you can go back and look at it. But at the same time, I firmly believe that we retain what we need, what is necessary. And we don't need to always carry around every little detail. But, you know, on the other hand, I think it's good to have a record of that as well, because sometimes I go back in my old journals and find like sacred names that I forgot about, or, you know, I don't just like diagrams I've drawn of things that I barely remember having these interactions or visions, or, you know, and they seem very profound to me because they're personal. But, you know, when I re-encounter them in my writings. So I think that this is going to be a real potent time for you. And so keep track of that where you can. Also, I think in the next 3 weeks, it looks like there might be a little bit of conflict surfacing. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, but I think just watch out for somebody, kind of that feeling of like a snake in the grass. And this might be related to that evil eye situation. But I think it's just mostly negative talk. I would say please try to not engage with it. Let it go. Stick to focusing on all of the wonderful things that you're doing. Don't let somebody ruin your shine just because they're jealous or envious or whatever. Okay? All right. Thank you, Scorpio. I was going to try to make this a shorter video, but they always end up being so long. I'm always so honored to have you at the channel, and for you to allow me to read your tea leaves and bring these messages to you. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you would be so kind as to go and like the video, it helps me get in the algorithm. If you have not subscribed, please think about doing so. You can hit the little bell thing and it will let you know when my next videos come out. It should be about 12 days until the next Scorpio, but in the meantime, watch your other placements. The other messages might really speak to you. Other than that, oh yeah, leave a comment. I love hearing from each and every one of you. And I thank you, thank you, thank you. We will see you again very soon, Scorpio. And keep up the amazing work you're doing.